And we are live.
You're live.
Yeah.
Is that Siri? Siri who tells us recording is in progress?
No, there was Zoom. I would just hit an extra Zoom recording. Hey, everyone.
Hello, everyone from Texas and The Hague. Woo!
Yes.
What time is it there, Merlin?
It's 6 p.m.
6 p.m.
Yes,
11,
6 p.m.
11 a.m. here. And it's actually a holiday here. It's President's Day. And I'm like, I wonder if we could invite really conscious presidents to show up all over the world.
Yeah.
Without a point of view, without making it significant, without blah, 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 all that stuff. Just what would it take for statesmen and people who actually care about the planet and who are willing to be more conscious to begin to infiltrate the political situation all over the planet?
Yeah. I have nothing to add to that other than giving their total space to let it work out whatever way.
And I am finally giving myself total space to not fall into the polarity, which is so easy to fall into when you look at what's happening in the world.
Yeah.
And one of the things that you and I have been doing on these Money Mondays is inspiring and encouraging people, all of you guys, to live outside the box of this reality with your thoughts, feelings, and emotions not ruling how you live or how you receive, but really your, as we like to invite you to, your awareness of the infinite being you truly are. I almost said transatlantic. I meant transplanetary, or the one that's not linear, simultaneous, life life in the quantum universe. It an acknowledgement of that consciousness is in every molecular structure of this reality, of the planet we live on and has always been. What if we just acknowledge that? That's wow, what if everybody we know could begin to acknowledge that there's consciousness in every single molecular structure that surrounds us, including us and our body, and our hair follicles. And the painting back there of me when I was 5 years old, the glasses and my beautiful pink glasses and the pink shirt I'm wearing. So because there's consciousness in every molecular structure, you can invite it to contribute to you, and you can have that exchange of vibration, that exchange of joy, that exchange of acknowledgement and gratitude. And gratitude, I mean, the plants, your plants in your apartment can gift you joy. Are you willing to receive that? And on that note, I think I'll open my Dr. Pepper, which just happens to match my shirt, which matches my hair, which matches my glasses. Oh, did I mention I like pink?
Did you ever mention? I think you just be that.
Did I ever mention I like pink? Oh my gosh. And this is I still have it, the pink Hug Me Valentine cookie I got for my date on Valentine's at a chocolate shop. And I did not know until I got it 2 days before Valentine's, because I was out with my friend Bill looking at lighting and stuff for my new apartment. And I thought it was so cute. I thought, well, that's cute. It's not like Be Mine or Love Me or anything, because, that wasn't appropriate. And I get home and I'm going to wrap it, just kind of a fun gift. I turn around on the back. Can you read what that says, Merlin?
I can see doggy decorated cookie, feed as a treat or reward.
They didn't even tell me at the chocolate shop I was buying a doggy cookie.
Did they even know? Did they know?
Oh my gosh. I was like, are you kidding? Well, the good thing is, David, who was my date on Valentine's, he laughed and laughed. He had a good gut laugh for 10 minutes. He thought that was the funniest thing he'd heard in a long time. And I was like, we had a very fun night. It was great. It's so great to be able to engage with friends and be acknowledged and be cared for on these holidays, because there's kind of a lot of stigma around them. Yikes, gazooks. And I personally have been avoiding them for years, but it's time to engage again, whatever that looks like.
I was like, yeah, like I've been like those holidays, like I used to like shy away from gay pride, from, all those like festivities that, bring so much energy, but then it's just energy. And we've had this conversation about everything being energy, everything actually, being included in consciousness. And of course, you have choice whether you engage with that or not. And like what I find so awesome is that, and beautiful is that, like, like this reality is such a big invitation, whether you make it real or not, like whether you see it as something that is dangerous or intimidating, or something that can be hugely inspiring and kind of like just the matrix, to actually play with it all and to let it in and to wonder and to engage with like something like Valentine's, or to engage with something like gay pride. If I would have not been willing to engage with gay pride, my drag, adventure could have not taken off the way it did. And it's like it's always inviting us to include more of us, essentially, because that is also what the whole conversation with money is about. Like, money's just a tool to engage and to choose and to allow more energy into your life, and actually be able to like to relax with that. Also, how is our relaxation going? Mine's going, like we're
Mine's a little rocky. Mine's
both
a little
doing that.
Mine's a little rocky these days. My engagement is doing well. I'm taking time for myself and I'm saying yes. Like I went to the Mardi Gras party with my friend Brooks. And that was, wow, it was a lot of fun. I met a few people that I know I will engage with further. I mean, like this one girl I met, I didn't even know that I eventually was sat next to her and that she was at our table, right? I had no idea, but she came up to me. I was standing in the bar line to get a drink, and she came up to me and said hello, because we had met before, I think at Polo or something. And she said, I'm single. Are you single? That was like the first thing she said. I went, yes, I'm single. And that became that opened this door. And she's like in her 30s, I'm in my 60s. And that opened this door for us to engage about, wow, how are we going to, is that something we want to choose? Well, obviously it's something we are choosing. Are we happy about it? We talked about how happy we were being single, and yet we would like to date, and how important it is to really like date yourself first.
I love that. Date yourself first.
Date
Yeah.
yourself first, and I told her, that I was asked out on Valentine's for the first time in 5 years this year. And we began to engage and talk about that. And it was a really interesting conversation. And then we end up being sat right next to each other at the dinner part of the party, and the band was really great. They played almost every song that I knew. So I was like, wow, not all, but I mean, it was real danceable music. As a group, we got up and danced, which is what I grew up dancing in groups, because I grew up in the 60s and 70s. And really, unless you did like ballroom, like real serious salsa or some kind of dancing, we just always got up on the dance floor and did whatever we wanted, kind of a static dance with each other. We danced girls with girls, boys with, no, maybe not too much boys with boys, but that was the 60s. But with the boys,
they had different venues for that.
Different venues for that, but it was, I grew up in kind of conservative South. And so, but it was more like team dancing. It wasn't like all this, tango and you're my date. And, we had group events, Group events. Do we have some peeps? Should I
Oh,
look at my?
we have some people watching, which is awesome. My mom is watching, Monique is watching, Mag is watching, Kanika is watching, and I'm sure more people are watching by now. Hey, welcome
Hey,
everyone.
everybody. Where do I find
Hello.
my phone again,
If
Roland?
yeah, just hover over to your page, Queenker, if you want to do it, if you want to have it real time, and otherwise just maybe open up your computer, or I will read the comments for
That's
the
that's
purpose
funny.
of ease.
I was going to say I was hovering over to my computer, and last night when I was Googling, I was up on and off all night. I don't, something is going on, but I went to sleep for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. Then I was up again for like 2 hours. It was a weird night. And I was looking, and sure enough, do you remember that book, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill?
Yes, I do.
Apparently they made a documentary about it and about his life. I did not
Mm-hmm.
know that. And
Oh,
I opened my phone, and here is, 10 times your wealth, your health, and prosperity this year with Think and Grow Rich, the movie. And I'm like, wow, okay, that's kind of interesting. Oh, so that's what came up when I pushed on Facebook.
I see. I see. Well, there we go.
There we
Nothing's
go.
ever nothing's ever a coincidence. But you know what I find really fascinating, you said like earlier, is like money, but does money make the world go round, or does consciousness make the world go round? I thought it was such a, like, kind of like deep but very, like, I don't know, for us day-to-day conversation,
Yeah.
you know,
Well,
like
does
nurturance.
what does make the world go round? Well, literally some kind of gravitational force.
Yeah.
So energy literally makes the world go round. And do we appreciate that? Do we even acknowledge that? Do we acknowledge how kind our planet is to us? I mean, I'm beginning to. I will confess that the majority of my life, I didn't really think about this beautiful planet. I sort of took her for granted. Can we call her? Because I think one of the names is Gaia, right?
I have no point of view about
I
the
just,
the gender pronouns. I'm not sure what she would like to be called. Let's call her. Like, or let's ask Earth. Like,
yeah,
what do you want to be? What do you want your pronoun to be?
right, right, right.
Maybe it doesn't have a point of view, but anyway, like usually people refer to Earth as her mother nature and father God.
Father, father universe. I don't know. The father
I,
mother thing. The father mother thing is so weird to me because um once I liberated myself from the whew, I want to say the trap of traditional religion. Once I
Mhm.
liberated myself from that, I don't really see things the same. I engage differently with the universe. I engage, I see, maybe I'm pantheistic, but I kind of, I see God and the universe and consciousness all being like this amazing force of creation. And I don't see a gender there.
No, I don't see a gender either. I see like all inclusive
All inclusive.
possibilities, and then you can, any personification is whatever, your point of view might be for 10 seconds, for a lifetime, for anything, knowing, for me, knowing that it's like it's all energy and everything is in oneness, that already takes care of it all. And then whatever shows up in whatever conversation, I'm willing to riff with that, go with that, or have a different point of view. It is really up for choice,
Well,
if
yeah.
you ask
And
me.
children of this big, big energy, how are we using that to our advantage, or are we using it to our disadvantage?
Hmm.
That I think is something that I've really been thinking about over the past just few days. And it's the strangest conversation I've had with several people. Um, are we afraid of our greatness? Is that really what we're afraid of, or we're not willing to fully embrace? And money is so tied into that because
Yeah.
one thing, money, people think money makes them great. Well, it fucking doesn't. Ooh, I'm not allowed to say that, am I? Am I allowed to say that?
I think you were allowed to say that. I mean, that Instagram when I add captions does a
Bleep.
censor bleep, you know. I actually found that hilarious. I
I
mean,
think it's
having
hilarious.
having you Queenker with your Mardi Gras hat on, like if you guys didn't see the reel, go find it and like it. So we can get some more algorithms going there. I thought it was hilarious, but you know, I think you can say whatever you desire and require. I mean, it's a powerful word, you know. I mean, Osho has this kind of like whatever your point of view on Osho is or whatever he's been up to, like, whoa. But then you know, it's like he has this whole 10 minutes about the power of fuck, I think it's called. I'm not really sure what the title is, but you know, go for it.
I just didn't
Fuck.
know who was censoring what these days, because I grew up in the 60s and 70s, and that was like every other word for us. It was
Mm.
like Coca-Cola. It was like, it's just that it had so much energy when we used it. It was so fun. And as teenagers, we were like, fuck this, fuck that. And then once I grew up, I had to really learn and started going to church when, I was married and stuff. And even a little bit earlier, I had to really retrain my mouth. And it's an interesting balance, because people judge you for what they hear coming out of your mouth and the way you dress and the way you look.
Yeah,
I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying this is what occurs. Which
I find it
reminds
so. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I have this Facebook. I haven't found my page yet, but I've had to block somebody I didn't know because I didn't want to see them getting undressed on my Facebook page.
No, why not?
Well, because first of all, they weren't pretty.
What's pretty?
Well, yeah, I don't know. It was like, no, it really looked like a sex trafficking commercial. And there was a kind of it had a creepy energy to it. And I was like, who is this person? I don't even know this person. This person is somewhere. I'm like, no. And I just went through and I went, block, yeah, block, because I don't even know what to do with that. I'm like, I was like, and then I had to pock and pod myself. I'm like, how in the world did that come up? Oh yeah. And I have points of view about sex trafficking anyway, that I have to pock and pod just because I
Well,
tend to feel kind of,
or include. I mean, like you might know something there. You might, be aware of something there. You might be aware of a whole bunch of energy there that not a lot of people are willing to engage with. And if you look at that as also just energy, which is of course a very irreverent statement, because you have to make all of that really significant if it comes down to the nitty-gritty of this reality. What if it's also like an interesting energy?
yeah,
It is.
Very interesting energy. I found us, by the way. There we are.
There we go.
Little
There we
tiny,
go.
but how is it that I find questions?
If you tap on the thing, then it will blow up.
I tap on the thing that is us, the small version of
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
Tap on it. It says curry and guest.
Yeah.
So do I tap on it twice?
Yeah.
I have to, Oh, there we are.
There we are.
Oh, okay. Now I can see. Oh, hi. Hi,
That's
Lily.
that's why I told you to put the volume down. This
Oh,
is a little
God.
tech one-on-one also,
I'm
people.
really
Just,
glad you did.
live streaming is and also like being able to track your thing. So if you guys have any questions or anything to bring into today's conversation, any Money Mondays are also for you to engage with Curry, to engage with whoever is here. Today I'm here, so willing to engage with you guys and like what your questions are. Because what is possible with money, wealth, riches, energy. I found this conversation about energy, money as energy, so fascinating, because like once it like I feel like you were talking about like your fear of greatness, right? So if I look at that, like
I didn't know I had a fear of greatness until I realized I was resisting it. And it probably isn't a fear. It's probably more of a resistance.
and it's also like I don't see it as a total yes, total no. It's always somewhere in between, because the moment you ask the question, you already open to what's next. So like when people ask me like these yes no questions about these matter, like like am I afraid of this? I'm like, first of all, fear is a distractor, it's not even real, but there's a lot of like energy around, which is not, which we might have kind of like, which we have used, or like the definitions around that energy is the things that we have used to, oh, keep away from this or keep away from that. The moment when that energy, that question is being asked, it's already like changing again. If there's a willingness to expand and evolve through your day-to-day life going into the future, if you ask me, that is like what I've been sensing with myself. It's like it's always moving, because these lower vibrations of what we would call emotions or feelings, or emotional feelings, not necessarily physical feelings, but they result in the body, the physical form also, obviously. Like it's just been like ever since, it's like I just see it. I know that it's all moving all at the same time. There's no hard yes, there's no hard no anymore. If it's about the evolutionary and the expansive questions, if you would ask me, do you want to go out to, to have Thai dinner, or to have sushi, or to have Italian, I might have a hard yes or a hard no, or to those kind of questions. But if you like acknowledge that, like for example, also you were just saying about, people will judge, or like the way you look, the things you say. And I'm like, if it's consciousness at work, if it's consciousness display, not making myself the god of everything, but making myself inclusive of everything also. It's like, what if they ask for if I show up? Like, I remember me getting into your, very grand doorman building complex with all these people who would have probably had loads of I could have like had loads of points of view about me being a little different, having my blonde curls, being a little younger than the average individual living there, maybe having a little less money than the average individual living there, maybe wearing more sports shoes. Like there, I felt all that energy come my way every time when I got in. And the more I engaged, I just looked at it, I smiled, I just saw all these cracks in their matrix, and I saw them smile back. I saw them relax. I saw them like, oh, actually receiving that, whatever you could call judgment. Because, like, is it real that they're judging me? No, it's just kind of like some sort of like like whatever. If I make it real, then it is real for me, because it takes two, right? Two to tango, make a reality, like, create reality. But then I just found that so fascinating, like being in the building with you for, you know, a good week to practice with that also,
But
practice with all these people, practice with the doorman people, practice with like everything. It was fun.
it's really interesting that you call it practicing, and because I would say that's really engaging with people. And I'm immediately thinking about yesterday, I met my friend Monica for breakfast at North. And none of the regular people that when I go on Saturday are there. None of those friendly, handsome guys who always say, hey, how you doing? Do you want your mocha? Nobody was there at that moment when we first walked in. And instead there was this kind of angry girl.
Oh,
Like behind,
really? Angry
yeah,
girl.
yeah,
We've
yeah.
seen angry guys up north, but we didn't see angry girls.
Yeah, this was the first one. Well, no, there might have been one other who was just kind of the other day. No, you weren't there. I was there with Bill, and she spilt something. But what I found myself doing was doing an energetic. First of all, I did Pock and Pod, the anger, rage, fury, hate, the distractor implants, and got sort of a piece around that and everything that was upsetting her that day in her universe, whatever that could be. And this is all going on in my head and my being. I'm going, what energy can I be to engage with her, to empower her, to compliment her, to acknowledge her, so that when she handles my food and my coffee, I have good energy with it, not this like, I'm at work, you know, because energy, for me, energy affects the food and affects the coffee, and it affects, for me, I'm aware of it that much that who cooks my food that day, it affects the food. It's why some restaurants you love and some you don't. It's because the chef has an energy of like, they either love what they do or they're like just, working for a living or whatever. And I'm sensitive enough to those energies.
And also, like, if you are like I know you're Magician. I'm stuttering again. What is this? It's like so many things have been changing in my speech. I know that you are.
I've been stuttering a little bit too when
Oh,
I was.
really? That's so funny. I'm like deconditioning stuff in my throat. However, like,
Yeah.
and even if it would be like, you could even make it so that it would still be nurturing and awesome for your body. And then we come into like the choice in the moment conversation, right? Or in the possibility in the moment conversation, also with energy, but also like what you did there is also being present with that energy and that whole situation where we so often go into burr or burr or burr or burr or something that is not if you're not willing to be present with it, you're not actually receiving. And also, like, do you have this too, Quinker, that you can have like the energy that someone's being or using or whatever they have going on? Probably it's like 100% not theirs anyway, but it's running through them. It's running through me. I can like start acting like that also and actually give it back to them, maybe even multiply it. I mean, I've got that. I've caught that now. That's what I thought was gonna like making me being reactive to people. But now I'm like, oh yeah, wait, I'm receiving it. I'm actually multiplying. I'm actually enlarging it. So I just kind of
Well,
like relax. But
but
what?
that's what I call psychic Tourette's.
Wow, that. Who
That's
else
what
is? Who else can? Who else? Raise your hand. Who else? Has a slight, power that shows up in psychic Tourette's.
and the thing is, it's like I think, particularly if you're like, you and I have worked really hard for many, many years, receiving all energies, as well as becoming aware when we choose to go no. And then like, okay, so do I need to go no? I mean, and what if I didn't go no? What if and this beautiful word that we get from Access Consciousness, allowance, which I'm so grateful that this word exists, because it allows me to not resist or react, but to be in the presence of the energy without resisting or reacting, and more like relaxing. But I really, I have to really not work at it. Isn't totally, I have to practice it. I
And
have to practice being aware, because it's harder on my body to react. Plus the fact when you react, you are then basically, well, this is again a wonderful picture that Monica gave me yesterday. We had such a fun breakfast there. Once we got, the energy moving differently with her. I don't know exactly how I did it. I just know that somehow I changed the energy, and then she began to engage and almost broke a smile. Almost. But you could perceive her energy being diffused.
yeah,
I'm not just some person who's going to ignore her, which is most of the people who come into restaurants, they basically ignore the wait staff. I never do that. I usually engage with the wait staff,
you
and then
engage more intensely than what they're used to, probably.
most of the
They're
time, but sometimes, remember Miss Tiffany?
yeah.
So, right. And so in the middle of us changing stuff with the lady behind the bar, Miss Tiffany shows up. She's working there on Sunday, and she comes over and just is like, my girl, how are you? And she just hugs me and all that stuff. And so there's another energetic thing that's occurring, right? And I don't even know why I'm saying this, but it is possible to change the energy of where you are and what and who you're dealing with, if you're willing to not judge the energy that they're being.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and not resist it. Because I will say, we walked in and I was like, ooh, I don't want to sit over there. That was what came up for me, which is, so instead of going, what awareness is that? I just kind of waited. I just waited and went, I wonder.
It's what we do sometimes. You kind of like just do what you do in the moment.
I looked and I went, oh, but I really like sitting at the bar. That was not a question. Notice, I really like sitting at the bar. Definitely not a question. she was going to take us to sit at a table. I don't know. It just seemed like, I don't know, the bar seemed like an easier place to engage. And Monica and I wanted to catch up on some things. And so then we went and had that energy presented with us. And I don't even know what the point is.
Well, it's like what do you actually desire to create in the world?
You can transform energies. You can transform energies by just being kind. Kindness.
And also you said it so beautifully. You were like, to that energy. And I noticed that, like it's however much and intense my experience that like how much or fast or intense you want to go. Often when I have these moments of like, not there,
yeah,
it's where actually the greatest power of transformation is right there.
Oh my gosh.
To me. So yeah. I'm not even, I could identify it as fear. I could identify it as resistance. I could identify it as so many things, as we do with money so often. Because like today also I had, for example, another conversation about the possibility of buying the apartment I live in. And I had like,
how much are they charging?
Is that appropriate for on the live stream? I'm not sure. Why not?
Like, the money now, I'm like, should we be partners?
There is no amount yet, and I calculated what I would like. What basically what I am like. Like it's gonna be an in-house conversation because I live here. I rent this for undetermined. But then I looked it up. It was like, well, it's probably it's probably.
Can I stop you for a second? Because there was so much energy on something you said of joy. It's an undetermined amount. Can we just open that possibility?
Yeah.
Undetermined amount.
I know.
Wow.
Like everyone was asking for it. Like, what are they charging? What are they charging? And I was like they have no answer yet.
So
because
awesome.
Yeah. So I met this guy randomly and he was like really in my face at the bar, but then it was really fun, but I could have said no, like too much energy, but then we got talking. Happens that he's like a real estate broker in the area. He knows so many people. He has like property himself. I'm not sure how much, but he was like, well, I could have a look. And he just gave me like these random tips and I wasn't sure what question to ask. I was like, are you interested in buying it? Because I don't think I will be able to. And then he was like asking me a couple of questions. I gave him some information and he just blew my mind with what I could ask and tell that other broker and I was like, wow, I never even saw it like that. So that was an engagement with all this energy, which led up to me having clarity. And also going back to questions I've asked is like, what would it take for money and my money, whatever my money is like for money to work for me, like it's always working for me, like, but for what, like what point of view am I asked? What do I want to have? What questions am I asking? So it's always this mix of all these things, which is energy, and then it has a result in that specific moment. So then I was like, again, like, wow, like nothing is a fucking coincidence. This is so super cool. So yeah, I mean, like, would I have not like I basically already concluded that, but not really. There was an energy of like, like this might not match that amount. But then he was like, well, what if you could buy it? Just say this and this and that, and this and this and that. How much money you've already invested, and that's more than half of what they might actually sell it for. Because I've lived here for so long.
Right, Mer. I'm just like, wow.
I was just gobsmacked. Like I would have not even like entered into conversations like that a couple of years ago because I was so terrified of engaging with all the energies around money.
Okay, so hold on. That's secondary. First thing is, did you say earlier that you had kind of a about sitting next to this guy in the first place?
Well, I was on my way out of the bar and then he started talking and I was like, wow, there's like a lot of energy. I was intrigued, but I was not necessarily immediately going to talk to him.
A lot of energy. That's what I was looking for.
Yeah. It felt like a lot of energy, which obviously has everything to do with and my full allowance for his presence, his being, his capacities, his qualities, his whatever his makeup is at that moment, and whatever he can contribute to my life and gift also.
Well, to be
So
able to have that energy, wow. I mean, everything you just said should be written down and given to someone like they should memorize that.
make notes, everyone. I
Take
just
notes.
said some brilliant things, apparently.
Yeah. Yeah. Because what I was looking at is that you engaged with that energy that was first, it was like, and what I was getting like force. And a lot of people that I meet and know who don't spend much time doing personal development work function from force as a presentation of who they be. And it's not really, it's a little bit, I think it's because it's what they found they had to be
Yeah.
to get to where they want to go. And that energy is not inviting, it actually is pushing away. And I think that, you know, I was sort of raised in that kind of environment. And if you're willing to engage anyway, then, which is what you did, then the magic and the transformation began to pour into you, because you have asked the universe for awareness. You've asked the universe for knowledge. You've asked the universe for more money. You've asked the universe to expand your reality, including money. You have been asking these questions.
I've
And
been
then,
asking me
yeah,
also, like, what can I be? What do I be that,
but
you
look
know?
how easy it would have been for you to shove that out of your
Yeah.
universe.
And for you to not sit at the bar.
And for you to not sit at the bar, how easy it would have been. So these are, you know, very, I want to say delicate, I almost want to say that the delicacies of energetic awareness.
Yeah, I find it so fascinating because it's so subtle. And like because I could take something as a no, but then I know that when something is there, it's moving already and it can show up as a no in those 10 seconds. But if I just be present and
So
like
how do you know it's
trained
moving?
curiosity,
How do you
like
know it's moving already? Can you explain that a little bit?
now it's knowing. It can feel really stuck, but I've practiced enough to know everything moves and to really know that. So that
So
is like, boom, that's just
it's
something I know. That's not something I have to, a tool I use. That's
it's
knowing.
a choice that you made over and over again that led to an experiential actualization.
Yeah. Of knowing that it is moving and also know it, looking like really kind of like studying how people approach energy. Because a lot of people that times people think they are stuck. Well, I think that's already the moment that they are unstucking themselves because they're already engaging with that energy, which could be a point of view, an energy they're not super comfortable with, something that they bought from someone else that's not even true for them. Everything in the universe is in motion. So knowing that, I started to look at, hey, how does this apply to these areas where people feel stuck, where people think they have a point of view? Do they even have a fixed point of view, or does it just look and feel like a fixed point of view in that moment if you have that point of view? So knowing that, I mean, that just came from a big ass fucking demand to be me no matter what and to be happy, to have ease. That's what it came from. That's like kind of like been the sign of my last year,
You have
2022.
to show your shirt a little bit more, your sweatshirt.
There we go, people. Be
Be
happy,
happy, be free, be you.
yeah, that's like kind of like read like that. And if you see it mirrored, I apologize. I can put the link in here. It's for sale also. It's kind of like a
Yes.
branding thing.
Beautiful, beautiful,
But it's like I made this in 2016 actually, and I kind of like I just made it because like it was an easy energy, but it still wants to like stay on the marketing line and all of that. And the shirt is really comfy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's really
So I
nice.
was like, I gotta wear what I desire, even though I am tempted, like so often tempted to take the hurdles to, but then again, I can say take the hurdles. I know it might show up
Okay, what
as
do you mean
take a
by take
hurdle.
the hurdle?
Well,
Because like
to engage with challenging situations.
like a literal hurdle on a track and field.
Well, no. But
Okay,
I have
no,
like a
no,
lot of things, a lot of the things I did as a dancer look like that. Like,
okay, because you
like
know I have two boys who were track and field guys.
yeah,
When you say hurdle, I'm thinking, oh crap, man, those are
I
big and
meant lit. I meant figuratively speaking, like as an
did you?
energetic.
Did you?
Yeah,
I mean, because we literally have to learn how to jump.
true, true.
Energetically, we have
Also,
to learn how to jump over hurdles. It's really
I mean, is it one or the other, or is it kind of like somewhere in between?
oh, but
Everything is
it's
included.
one of the tools. It's one of the tools. But if we learn how to jump, that's sort of like the beginning of flying,
Yeah.
you know, and there's this like, I can do that. I can do that, like I have
Oh,
no
that's so funny because he kind of that guy kind of jumped at me. He kind of jumped at me. I was like, "Hello, who are you?" Like, what's this?
yeah,
What's this
I,
vibe? I was just gonna go.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And also what I have found in the real estate industry, which of course I've been involved with for not a whole bunch of years, but since like 2010, 11, yeah, right in there somewhere, 12, when I started doing some stuff with Gary and my son Nathan, just, not fix and flip, just fix and rent, and learning about real estate. Real estate people are really forceful and pushy, like unbelievable. It's like,
Hmm.
whoa. And I had to really like, kind of
Learn to
lot
relax.
more space, a lot more
Yeah.
space. They're really, really, and I'm a lot in that world. I function with a lot of those people. And what I do is I pull energy like cray cray, like a MF. I just pull
Yeah.
energy, eat them like just, whoo, and listen and wait for something that they say where I can ask them a question about them that also opens the door for me to like engage.
Yeah. Yeah. It looks like they more have like kind of like this bulldozer energy when they're going for something. They're this big presence, so it's not coming through
Yes.
a very narrow
No, it's
thing,
really,
but it's like a bigger presence. And I used to be like super intimidated by it. And so then I was like, I got home and I was like, and you know what? This guy just called me. It was like because he was like also wanted to come to the drag show and this and that and blah 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 yada yada yada. It's like, cook for me. Like, like are you a good cook? It's like, well, like my boyfriend is. He was like, well, good takeaways, good also. Like there was a lot of movement in this conversation all the time. And then he just called me up and he just gave me like 3 tips right there, but before I was gonna go to the next bar. And I was just gobsmacked. It's like just this kind of like fell in my lap and it felt so
yes,
easeful. And then I
yes.
went I went take action on those things, like, see how much, I could probably get a mortgage on and all these other things that I had to kind of look up my files. I had to look at like, the fiscal income, like for like over 4 years as an entrepreneur. I had to look at my health situation. I had to look at the loans and debts and like the things I don't, really like to do every day. But then I was like, well, I'm really engaging with these energies now, which resulted in actually getting clarity with it all. But like with that, I could have like already kind of like I could have like checked out already for like how like 100 times, like a million times in that whole process. So that like shows all about, just keeping and being engaged with what you're actually asking for yourself. Because it always, like for me, it never shows up the way I think, or it like, because energy is like it's not just one thing. You ask for this, you ask for this quality, something else will start bubbling also. You
It's not controllable. I said it's free, but I mean it's not controllable. Energy is
Yeah.
not controllable.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
controlly boly with energy.
And it's so beautiful because if you acknowledge that you are consciousness, like now I'm like so often just less surprised by what shows up because I have started to be willing to know. So here also a question for everyone listening: how much do I actually kind of like already know? And I can really trust that I know that I don't have to doubt about, like because the more energy that comes your way, the more that doubty thing could increase. But no, it's just this energy that's just coming available to you when it was already meant to be available for you in the first place, because you're an infinite being,
And that is the practice, the choices that you practice, that you get to learn to trust your knowing.
How does it get better than that? It's kind of like kind of like tunes into the title of this live stream, or like kind of like, what if all of life can be a gift? And
Is that the title?
well, that's kind of like what was in the description.
Can you
um
can you read it again? What was our description?
does money make the world go round? What if all of life can be a gift?
Yeah, yeah. Does money make the world go round? Well, I would have to say no. I would say energy and consciousness has its own system that actually is the greater system, that is what creates possibilities and movement. And if we tap into that, or we begin to allow that in our lives, then we can have more of these gobsmack moments. We can have more of we can have gobsmack days. We can have, wow, like my Valentine's Day, like all the things that happened that day, from being gifted the calendar by my Rolfer, and to the the place where I was waitlisted to call me and say we can put you in, to walking into a hair salon and getting my hair done on the spot, like at the last minute. I mean,
Yeah.
all these beautiful things, including buying a doggy heart cookie for my date.
some
I
some
mean,
some hidden desires there, like what's that? No, just
yeah, and he doesn't even have dogs, he has cats, so it didn't, like, it was moot point to but
oh wow.
I'm really glad I read the back of it, because I had gone back and forth, because I got it like 2 days before Valentine's when I went shopping with Bill, and I thought, oh, maybe I should just taste the cookie. And that's when I turned it around to read, I wonder what's in this cookie. I wonder if it's a sugar cookie. And it's like, doggy
Yeah.
biscuits?
Yeah.
No, I won't be tasting this.
Yeah. I mean, it can be just energy, but you don't have to taste it, eat a doggy cookie, like, it is, that's where choice comes in.
Choice, yes. I'm really grateful that my body said, I wonder what's in it. And I turned it over.
So funny.
I know.
So funny. Wow.
What's so funny is that they didn't tell me at the counter that it was a doggy biscuit.
No.
I
Well,
know.
what's the gift in that?
What's the gift in that? It's so funny. It's really funny. I'm just like, I'm still surprised at that, but maybe they thought I knew. I mean,
Maybe,
there was
maybe
like
it was gonna like create a great story.
there were heart cookies, there were like Mardi Gras mask cookies, and there were little doggy cookies. Like they were shaped like a dog, but they were all in the same basket. I was just like, anyway, very
I
funny.
have so many questions for this, but that will be really analytical. Maybe not, maybe kind of like surpassing the conversation of,
But I love the fact that you are in a space that you're being invited to create wealth.
oh yeah, I'm so thrilled. Yeah. And it's so different. Never shows up the way you think, and
Mhm.
also like looking at is like what areas of my life like are like super wealthy already, like what areas are wealthy. It's like, how do I feel going throughout the day? What are the are the things like, where do I feel satisfied? Where do I kind of like have this sense of peace? Where am I actually kind of like, living more of what I am? And yeah, for me
And
also,
wealth is a big, big picture of which money and assets are part of it,
yeah,
all of it.
yeah, yeah. I mean, just going through a conversation like that, having it show up with such ease, really kind of like, and like those moments are really there to acknowledge everyone, to kind of like, if you've had like these magical moments that appear to just happen, like cherish them. Like you might actually kind of like, some of you might even go to making it really significant first, because you would otherwise not receive the total energy there, because the significance and the non-significance is included in that also. I see people shy away from receiving it fully because they don't want to make it significant. They want to be like a good access person and like not make it significant. It's like, what else is there for me to receive, And yeah,
That's a little different. I think that's another big topic about
I know.
significance and money and all that stuff, because I don't care what kind of studying you do. Most people make money significant, or the lack of money significant. And one of the things that I've had to look at is, what am I willing or not willing to have or to receive or to be, and not worry so much about what other people are not willing to have, be, or receive, unless they come to me and they ask for, advice or facilitation. Because I can't change anyone. This is really the saddest news of all.
Well, it's kind of like really liberating also. Like I was having a talk to like I'm not gonna go into it fully because we're like hitting the hour
Just gonna say,
shortly.
it feels like
Um,
we don't want to start people going, oh, they went too long. So we
they
need to
went
go out.
too long. Oh well, they'll listen to the extent to when they'll
When they,
listen.
I was thinking
Yeah,
we could also break them up into little segments, what we're doing too.
we could, and then Money Mondays will whatever it will be, whatever you make it every week. So yeah, well, let's keep the significance conversation for another time then.
Totally.
And like if any of you guys want to hear from any specific topics or something, or you want to join in the conversation, just leave a note on any of the platforms. We'll look it out. We'll look it up and check it out and include it into the next conversation. So yeah, thank you for today's conversation, Queen Kerr, as I like to call you.
Thank you, King Mur. And thank you everybody who came on board to listen, and you are such a contribution with your energy, because when you come in to our conversation, we get to receive you. And then my hunch is that those of you who came on board, somewhere in your universes, the things we're talking about were also questions you had, because that's usually how it works. So we get to perceive where you're at, and we're so grateful because you give us energy and you give us awareness and you give us ideas of what to talk about. And so thank you. Oh, and someone just said, thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh my gosh. Hi. Oh my gosh. Hi, Joanna. Oh my gosh. Hi, Susan. So, everybody who watches contributes an energy that inspires us to discuss whatever it is we're discussing. It just sort of, because we haven't made a plan. I mean, before we got on today, we were like, what are we going to title this? What are we talking about? So it's real spontaneous, and I hope you guys are enjoying it. We'd love to have feedback. And what are those things they need to do for the algorithms? They need to like us or subscribe or
Oh, liking
say,
and following your
oh,
page, or maybe sharing the live stream if you liked it. Like, like let a friend know that, this is occurring every Monday. And that, I mean, Curry, she'll ramble along anyway. If I'm here, I will ramble along and we'll talk about many different things, because we actually like to have more multifaceted going deeper, but still embracing the lightness of living conversations.
Yeah.
And we're always a hoot, at least that's what I think. But it's like, and yeah, there will be more on all the social media platforms also. So, hop over to Curry's Instagram, Curry Glassell, and see what's up there. And we'll love to see you again next week.
See you next week. Thank you all for joining. Thank you, Mur, for helping and putting this all together with such ease. I'm very grateful.
Thank you for
Bye,
having me,
everybody.
Quinker. Bye, everyone.